Huge show on today's DNVR Broncos podcast. We are talking about Nik Bonitto, and did he potentially hint that a contract extension could be coming soon for him? Plus, we're breaking down what Sean Payton had to say about this team, and it all starts now. Greenlaw is back, and the Broncos are back for the final preseason game this week. They're back on the practice field, and we are here to break down the latest in Broncos Country on the DNVR Broncos Podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. Ryan Koenigsberg, Henry Chisholm, we got you here behind the camera, and Zac Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, how we doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, especially after seeing number 15 and 57 on the field this week.
Wow. Yeah, my tooth fell out of the bone, so I'm kind of screwed and in constant pain for another 6 months.
Wait, what?
Yeah, the bone just eroded, I guess, and there's going to be a whole bunch of things going on in my mouth. But fortunately, they aren't going to be next week.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, I honestly wish it was that and not this.
Wow.
I think that would be, if the options were one or the other, one seems... You'd get it over with. The other is constant pain for 6 months and thousands of dollars.
Can you explain what you're talking about?
No,
I think everybody understands. I don't think there's any need to go any deeper.
Damn, dude.
Also, 10 a.m. shows are interesting. I have to get my routine down.
Well, thankfully, it won't be for long.
Oh.
So you don't have to get your routine down.
Oh, okay.
Speaking of these shows, the comment section's been popping off in the comments below for the people that don't watch live, and got to give a shout. I said I watch or read every single comment. One of the commenters got me yesterday messing up Frank Crumb's name.
Yeah.
And that was that was a rightful call out. Yeah, I didn't even realize I did that in person. I don't know if Henry did. Some people commented back and said, I wish Henry was on the screen for that slip up. But
I caught that immediately.
So yeah, I did not. I had to go back and shout out to the comment section for pointing it out.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Zach.
That is.
Yeah, it was.
I want to change my answer. I'll just deal with the teeth thing. Just want to update there.
Yeah,
moving on.
It's too late, actually. Like,
is it?
Yeah.
I already signed up.
You've already been judged heavily.
It's already been
people.
assigned? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, man, and your mouth doesn't even feel better. That's a bummer.
And unfortunately,
Like,
it's just going to get worse.
Well,
yes.
you signed up for both. Jeez, man,
Yeah.
that's tough. All right, let's dive into this conversation because we've got a lot to get to from what happened with the Broncos this week so far. And let's start with the practice yesterday. Nik Bonitto was back. Dre Greenlaw was back. These are two guys that we were told would probably be back last week that weren't back last week. And so it's like our antennas go up a little bit when the timeline keeps getting pushed back. So this is actually pretty darn big news that both of these guys were back. Both of them doing team drills as well. Alex Singleton doing team drills as well. Garett Bolles, who left Thursday's practice due to asthma and a scary situation, he was back. So Broncos health is in a really good place right now. We'll touch wood for that. And there you go. There's some wood right there. You're going to have to explain what that thing is later.
You're going to have a good take, and then I will.
Okay, well, just stay tuned. Those are coming up.
Really?
So saying that Nik Bonitto's back isn't a good take?
It's not a take at all. That's actually a really big problem in America right now. People think that statements are takes, even if they're just facts. It's really annoying.
Okay.
So take has to be an opinion.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I could be like, the Buffs won the game this week, and people would be like, bad take right there. And it's crazy.
Is that just Buffs fans who do that?
No, it's not Buffs fans.
Oh.
It's like haters.
Oh.
Yeah, because Buffs fans would like that take.
But like what's factual and not
No.
has been completely blurred. So do you blame the
That is
people or
true.
do you blame the environment?
Probably the people.
I'm not going to answer that question
Okay.
there. So well, tell us what it is now that we're talking about it.
No.
No, okay, we got to have a good take. Okay, so Nik Bonitto, the reason he missed last week after having an incredible first preseason game against the 49ers was he had a bone spur pop up on the top of his bone, or on the top of his foot, which is essentially like extra bone from the little I understand about this that grows on the top of your foot. Really hurts. And Nick said it popped up during Thursday's joint practice against the 49ers. He played through it, played incredibly well, like could have easily had 3 sacks on the stat sheet. And then he told the trainers after, like, I might be able to keep playing through this. And they said, along with Sean Payton, like, no, just take care of it right now. It's going to put you out a week. And then that's exactly what happened. He missed all of last week, obviously didn't play in the game along with all of the other starters. Then he was back on the practice field yesterday, and we got an update from Nick just on that process. So let's hear from Nick.
Yeah, so it was kind of just a thing that showed up in the 49ers practice. And it just, ever since then, it was kind of bothering me. Was trying to fight through it through the game. And, like, it felt like I told the trainers if I kept playing, I don't think I could have, like, really kept going on it. So it was just something where, like, we could either keep trying to fight through this throughout the season or have the procedure done and not worry about it. So I feel like with the trainers, you know, what they told me and what Coach told me, they were like, I should get it done. So I have full trust in them, and that's what we ended up doing with that. So.
Thank goodness that they did this, because there's when he got this procedure done, there's 4 weeks leading up to the season, and they thought it'd be a week, and they were right. He was back yesterday. I'm so happy, because it seemed like there was a little bit of uncertainty if he'd actually have this done. I'm so glad that he had this done when he did.
Yeah. Usually, though, in my experience, something that doesn't just go away.
Oh.
Yes.
So.
Bone spurs?
Yeah. Like, just something that he's probably going to have to deal with and keep an eye on constantly.
Because the thing is, it's like so when something heals, like the bone grows back, and like sometimes you talk about knees, like you have your ACL done, it grows back stronger. With the bone spurs, what happened is there's like old tiny stress fracture, just a tiny one, and then it heals, and the bone is just like bigger than the rest, and that's what causes the pain right where it healed. And so you have that piece taken off, but you're probably prone to having those same little, like, for him it's his foot, because there's so much pressure on his foot, there's probably going to be other little flare-ups. We hope not, but
I had no idea. I just thought it was fixed and ready to go. And then after Nick talked about was he 100% in that practice, and essentially he said no, he's still working back through it. So that's going to be, I guess, something to monitor. That kind of concerns me a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, it's more annoying.
No,
than
yeah,
anything
exactly.
else.
Good.
And like, it's not like the bone grows super fast. You know, it's like maybe next year there winds up being something like this, and during training camp he has it taken care of.
Yep.
And then speaking of Nick, this was the first time we've talked to Nik Bonitto on the podium, meaning the Broncos allowed him to be available since last season, which is crazy because he's going through a contract extension. And the Broncos, we didn't talk to Courtland Sutton until he got his contract. We didn't talk to Zach Allen until he got his contract. But I think it just got to the time where it's like, okay, we need to talk to the all-pro pass rusher that you have. So yesterday was the first time that we've talked to him publicly. We've talked to him at his camp that he held right before training camp. This is the first time that we've talked to him in a Broncos setting. So naturally, the conversation comes up, and there's many questions about his contract. And I want you guys to listen to this and tell me, after hearing from Nick, if you feel like a deal is closer to happening or further to happening. Let's hear from Nick right now. There's a couple of questions in here, and I believe we can hear the reporters' questions being asked. So it's only about 2 minutes. And
rare for the Broncos.
Listen carefully.
Yeah, I mean, they're going well. I feel like there's been good communication on both sides. I think, it's just my agent. I feel like he's one of the best in the game. I feel like I got to trust what he's doing. And knowing how they feel about me upstairs, I feel like something will get done, but it's just a matter of when. And, until then, I just got to keep doing me.
Do you feel like Sutton is signed, you've signed? Is there maybe more of a concerted effort that, okay, now we'll get Nick signed?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they've pretty much, like, through the whole process, like, kept me, like, priority, knowing, they want to extend me, they want me here. It's just about, when they want to get it done and when, we're ready, so.
Do you want to wait until Parsons signs, possibly?
Say it again?
Would you prefer to wait until Parsons signs and gets his new deal?
Honestly, that's up to my agent. I kind of just leave that up to him. He brings me with ideas, and I just yes or no, but I don't really have no preference.
You said a few weeks ago that you felt like the market was kind of in your favor as far as seeing the landscape of how much guys have made in your spot. Do you still kind of feel that way? Like you're in a position to kind of wait and see how things develop?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the edge market. I mean, it's just going to keep going up and up with the guys that are still needing to be signed, and just the position that I'm in, whether I was last year or the confidence that I feel I'm going to put myself in this year. So it's just kind of my favor right now with that stuff.
Nick, is it important for you at all to have the deal done before the season or at a certain point?
I mean, not really. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still under contract for another year. So, I mean, yeah, I would like to get it done, but that's like the least of my worries, honestly. Like, I just want to compete for a championship this year, do all the things that we have set out to do as a team and as a defense.
After hearing that, you just have to have a big smile on your face if you're a Broncos fan. And this could be the Micah Parsons route. Like, pay me, I'm not going to show up, I'm not going to play. Instead, you get Nik Bonitto on there, says, I don't need it done before the season. What I'm focused on is winning a Super Bowl and helping this team get to the best it can be. It's crazy how different these two worlds are.
Everyone's been acting different since we did the Mr. Bronco tournament.
Oh,
That's a good point.
And we left the tournament with Mr. Bronco up for grabs, and it just feels like all the players are kind of trying to make moves to be Mr. Bronco. And that was a Mr. Bronco-y quote at the end there.
It's very true.
I think part of it's also like the Micah Parsons negotiations are easy. Like you just need to make him the highest paid, and that's kind of that. And if the Cowboys aren't willing to do it, like there isn't much like wiggle room there.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just so obvious what needs to be done. This one, because like Sean has called it like he's in a transition period, I think is what he said. Because like, Courtland Sutton, it's easy. You've seen what he is. Zach Allen, you've seen what he is. Nik Bonitto was this and then this and now is this. And so do you pay him like a guy who's number 3 in the NFL in sacks? Do you pay him a guy who has only had like the one big year? And so I think it kind of makes sense that this negotiation would be a lot tougher. And I think Sean even said that this one is tougher than some of those others where you just have more benchmarks to use.
So this is a deal that it's not a matter of if it gets done. It's a matter of when it gets done. That's very clear after hearing from Nick, because he says things are in a good position. I know from the Broncos side, they're in a good position. Do you guys feel like what he said about how talks are going well and how his tone is not worried about this at all, that a deal could be signed tomorrow? Today. So you think it might happen soon?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't only think it might happen soon. I think it will happen soon. The Broncos have been taking care of all of their guys this offseason. Nick is potentially the most valuable of any of them. And so I know he's a priority for him. I agree with Henry that this negotiation is more complicated than others because each side is going to have their own opinion on what the precedent is, what the case study is to play off of here. And so it just allows for a lot more conversation, a lot more back and forth. In the end, both sides want to get it done, though, so they're going to be willing to meet in the middle somewhere. And I think I've felt like the Broncos owners have been adamant about trying to take all of this stuff out of the air before the season starts, and so I think they'll get it done.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this when Zach signed his extension, I think, where at the time I thought like Nik Bonitto's deal is getting done during camp. And then the way I heard Sean, I think we disagreed on that one. The way I heard Sean talk about Nick, it made it sound like it wasn't so much of a guarantee that this was going to get done before the season. But yeah, I mean, this goes right back to where we started, which is it seems like it's pretty obvious you want to get this done. There's no reason to let it linger. I think the numbers could vary a lot. Like if he goes out and has 2 sacks in the first preseason game and has 2 more in this week 2, the numbers change. If he goes out there and doesn't have any sacks in the first 3 weeks of the season, the numbers change. And I think that during the season, to me, it feels like it could be a lot tougher to kind of get this to where both sides are on the same page, which is why I think it makes a lot more sense to get it done beforehand. Just seems like a much easier negotiation. Still a tough negotiation, but easier now than then.
Well, and it's just going to depend on, because there's a big gamble one way or the other if you don't get this done. I have an idea after talking to a lot of people of where this thing is at right now, and I want to tell you guys that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Taco Bell.
Hell yeah, baby.
The best food out there. And why don't you get yourself, Ryan? Can I sell you on a Buffs box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's the best deal in food.
It's absolutely incredible. Listen to this. $7. Get you a cheesy gordita crunch, which is delicious, a beefy 5-layer burrito. Henry said that's his favorite thing on the menu. A Doritos Locos taco, the best taco you can find out there. And maybe the best dessert of all time, cinnamon twists, plus a large fountain drink. And you can get the new Baja Blast with that as well. So many things in that. Plus, it's all fantastic. And another benefit for you, Ryan. With that Buffs box, you get a player collector cup featuring, which one are you getting? Jordan Seaton.
All of them.
Juju Lewis.
Gotta catch them all.
Draylon Miller and Quentin Gibson.
Draylon.
Sorry. I got Draylon yesterday. In my buff box that we had on the show. And this is available at limited time at Colorado locations. And another cool thing, every touchdown that CU scores, Taco Bell is going to give $1,000 to the CU Athletic Scholarship Fund. Pick up your Buffs box at the nearest Taco Bell.
Oh,
that was a good take.
You know Bell.
Oh, let's go.
Oh boy.
I'm honored.
Also, we've got all these super hot practices that we go to every day. And there's really no indication that it's going to get any cooler out there. Best way to handle that is Mack Weldon Clothing, because their new Tech Linen line combines the easy charm of classic linen with Cool Max technology. The Cool Max technology makes it feel a lot cooler. Obviously, that's why it's in the name. But it still doesn't look like it's... Sometimes those sorts of things look different than normal clothes, and you're like, you're wearing something that's off. Like, I prefer just like a nice cotton t-shirt. They make it look like that, but also throw in the Cool Max technology, so it's still nice and smooth and natural, but also comes with all the perks. Like I said last time, we've been spending a lot of time on that Mack Weldon website. There's a whole bunch of really cool stuff. Anything that you're looking for, from, again, t-shirts to shorts, pants, socks, and underwear. They have everything for any situation. It's the stuff that you can wear out, the stuff that you can wear at the gym. It's just the best out there, which is why they expanded from just producing the skivvies, which is a word that I had never used before this, to then
I still won't be.
Yeah. I decided I wasn't, then I got to this point and I was like, you know what? It is what it is. But for 10 years, Mack Weldon's designed timeless, innovative menswear, helps you through the day with confidence. Even if you're just hanging in your underwear, you can get breathable clothes you can feel comfortable in all summer. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 25% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code DNVR. That's MackWeldon.com, promo code DNVR.
Shout out to the Toyota chat, and also shout out to everyone that doesn't tune in live, that's been leaving comments in the comment section below. It's really fun to read those and then bring some things to the next show as well. And one of those things that was in the comment section yesterday that Jeff just brought up in the Toyota chat was that Taco Bell should sign me. And I'm like, of course, where can I sign? Especially Jeff says, I
kind of already did.
I do it for like Taco Bell for life, but
Gonna be like a cashier.
But Jeff says sign Zac to a 5-year, $150 million deal.
Wow.
You got me, Taco Bell. I'm right there. We got Jay Beeman, who says went to Taco Bell and bought all 4 cups. That's clippable there. Yeah, here. And then he finishes off with, Ryan, I got to let you say this.
Where?
Jeff.
Just go Buffs, baby.
Yeah, there you go. I had to let you say
we
this.
have what? 9 days? 9 days until kickoff.
Is it Friday?
Yeah, next
Friday night?
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
So excited.
Incredible.
Also,
I cannot wait.
Shout out Taco Bell, man.
Oh,
good.
Shout out T-Bell. Love it. Okay, so where I think things stand, and this isn't really a guess, it's putting things together. I think Nik Bonitto is ready to sign the deal. I think the Broncos are saying, we love you. We've got a deal that we want to offer you. But guys, the closer we get to the season, the more I'm thinking this might go into the season. And I think that is a big mistake from the Broncos, because not only can Nik Bonitto go out and have 4 sacks in the first 2 weeks, it's more likely than not that he blows up in the first 2 weeks of the season than he has a disappointing or a quiet first 2 weeks. Not just because he's Nik Bonitto and he's had the 3rd most sacks in the NFL last year. You're playing Cam Ward at home, and then you're playing Daniel Jones on the road. Those might be the 2 easiest quarterbacks that you go up against, and especially guys where Nik Bonitto can easily get 4 sacks in those 2 games. And if he gets 4 sacks in those 2 games, and I'm Nik Bonitto and the Broncos didn't offer me a contract that I liked, because I know they have offered him a contract, just a little bit of a low ball for what he wants, then I'm saying no. I'm not taking the $25 million a year that I wanted before the season. Now I'm up to $35 million. Or if Micah Parsons signs and Micah Parsons signs for $43 million, I might be saying I'm on pace for a 34 sack season after having 4 sacks in the first 2 weeks. Give me $45 million. So I think the Broncos can get him for a 4-year, $100 million deal, $70 million guaranteed right now. Maybe it's increasing a little bit, but that is a fantastic deal that the Broncos shouldn't mess around. Sign him to that deal right now.
Yeah, and like Cam Ward might be the perfect Nik Bonitto matchup because it's going to be a rookie coming in here trying to make something happen, and he's going to think he's going to be able to escape the pocket like he used to. And Nik Bonitto got to be top 5 fastest pass rushers in the NFL. Like, you are not running away from him.
Yep.
So I could see Nik Bonitto going insane in week 1, like 5 sacks.
That is assuming they're throwing the ball. Because that's the thing. I guess
Or
Colts,
that they start Cam Ward.
Yeah, Colts in particular, you're like, you're trying to do everything you can to keep the ball out of the quarterback's hands. You want this to be the Jonathan Taylor show. So it's kind of on the offense to like get that 10-point lead so they have the pressure.
They're not going to get that 10-point lead, though.
The Broncos?
Oh, no, the Colts.
Yeah. So it's on the offense to kind of get that lead and force them to throw the ball. Because these are the two teams where you look at and say, like, they're also, in theory, trying to do everything they can to keep the ball in the quarterback's hand as much as possible.
Let me know in the Twitter chat, and if you're listening in the chat below, would you sign Nik Bonitto right now to 4-year, $100 million deal? We got a good question from Ruben, though, in the Twitter chat. Says, y'all think his minor foot injury slows down contract talks? Me not having any idea about how this can be a reoccurring injury or reoccurring annoyance, I would have said absolutely not before. Do you guys think it slows it down at all?
No, I mean, if the Broncos wanted to be ball busters, then they could try to use it. It just doesn't seem like the way that they're operating.
Yeah, especially, they would never do that. Because if you're saying, like, I don't know, we think you're worth $23 million, he's like, oh, 27, and it's like, oh, I don't know, maybe 24 and 26, and it's like bone spur. Actually, we're back to 23. Like, I just don't think that makes any, like, that doesn't feel like how negotiations actually go.
Ryan, you said you're signing that deal. Daniel Sepp in the Twitter chat says he's signing his deal. So does Turd Curry says he's signing that deal right there. And one more thing on Nick really quick. Dominic in the Twitter chat says, what do you guys think of his cryptic Instagram post the other day saying he had a plan C? If you know, you know. I 100% know that it's a movie reference. It's nothing to worry about because I did see some people freaking out online.
Could it be a relevant movie reference?
F1, that movie.
Okay. I'm just saying, like, was that reference relevant to contract talks?
No, I 100% no.
Okay.
I talked to someone. Yes, no.
Okay.
So don't worry about it because I was like, is this cryptic? No, it's not. Okay, so let's just sign Nick. Let's get all 3 of these deals out of the way before camp starts. The Broncos did this last year. They signed Quinn a week before training camp. They waited all of training camp, and then a week before the season, they signed Pat Surtain. They got it all done before the season. Doesn't matter how it's done. Just get it done before the season. And that's it was unofficial with Pat. There was like an unofficial, let's get this done before the start of the season. They got it done, I think, the Wednesday before the first game. Just do the same thing with Nick. Let's just get this done so we can move on with our life. And speaking of moving on with our life, let's move on to this conversation and hear from Adam Trautman, who has quietly become a very good quote for the Broncos. He's now talked on the podium twice in training camp and has delivered some pretty good things. And there was a question that was asked to Adam. What are the biggest areas this offense has improved from last year to this year? And guys, this might have been music to everyone's ears. Let's hear Adam's answer on this.
I mean, I think being solid at quarterback, not even just obviously having continuity, but how he's so in command now. And, he's kind of talking about things that he likes, things that he doesn't, and he has a lot more control over that. And then I'd say run game for sure. Obviously, that's been an emphasis with everything we've done. And, I mean, we've been drilling the hell out of it. So
which is why we've been in pads so that we can, simulate it as best we can. So I think those are the two areas probably we've progressed the most and definitely are looking to see progression from.
So your quarterback has taken the step from year 1 to year 2 after a great rookie season, and your run game, which was not good last year, has now taken a big step up because you've drilled the hell out of it all year. What else can you ask for?
That's exactly what the Broncos need to be a Super Bowl contender. Straight up. We already know they have a Super Bowl caliber defense. So if you can run the ball and then your quarterback takes a step forward, and running the ball will actually help your quarterback take another step forward, Broncos are right in the mix.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's what everybody's been saying, is that Bo is better. I mean, we've been saying it. Like, we can just go and watch and see, like, this doesn't look like the beginning of camp last year when he was struggling a bit. And yeah, run game that we've heard all about. That's what they're focusing on. They're throwing the wide zone run scheme, and yeah, a lot of that's on the tight ends, which is why the Nate Adkins thing is a little bit interesting. But Adam Trautman is going to be an important piece of that. So yeah, I mean, definitely good to hear him say it. He wasn't going to say it's looking bad though, I guess.
But the question wasn't like, has Bo gotten better and has the run game gotten better? The question was just like very open-ended. How has where has the offense progressed from last year to this year? So for him to point to those two things, I mean, you couldn't have asked him, because we've also seen the receivers and weapons take a big step up. We just saw Evan Ingram, what he did with that 58-yard catch. We've seen Troy Franklin take a massive step up. We've seen Pat Bryant go from like a laughing stock when the Broncos drafted him to now everyone has retracted their comments about him. And now there's been legitimate comments about Michael Thomas. We've even had our guy Benny Fowler say that. So there's been other ways that we've clearly seen the Broncos offense step up, and yet Adam Trautman identified those two things.
Do you think people will ever learn to stop doing that?
I think people need to stop paying attention to the 40.
Oh, that is for damn sure. You
Because
think that's
really-
why people were pissed about Pat Bryant?
100%, because he ran a 4.6 140. And when you're looking at a guy that you don't know because you didn't watch Bell throughout the college, the Bell.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get it. It was
Okay.
just, yeah.
Okay. So you didn't watch ball, and you didn't know Illinois' receivers.
Yep.
You quickly do a Google search, and you're like, oh, why is this guy low? Oh, 4.6 140. Come on, this guy's so slow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think that's why. I think that's honestly in buildings why he fell. But then also in definitely in like just outside circles why he was made fun of.
Yeah, because like there's all the internet scouts and stuff where they all use like their kind of the same grading system, and a lot of people don't have time to just dig into every single player. And so when you see didn't get 1,000 yards, he came close, but you don't see like the one at the start of the number, that hurts. You see the 40 time, it's just like, he's not in this group or this group. He's at best down in this group. And then there's some teams who think that way too. Like the Eagles, they're a size speed team. Like the Raiders are famously a size speed team. And so when they're drafting guys,
a lot better at being a size speed team.
yes, no, there's some teams are obviously better than others.
Also, though,
but-
the Eagles, they might be a size speed team, but they still drafted Devontae Smith in the first round, and he is the opposite of size. And
Speed, though.
so there are
Exceptions.
there
to
are
the rule.
exceptions
Yeah.
for the good teams.
Yeah, but yeah, I think the Eagles just aren't really a team that would take a chance on a guy who's running in the 4.6s, you know? And I think that there's however many, is there 10 of them? Is there whatever? And so when there's that big group that says we're not interested, then first of all, that means that there are fewer landing spots, so it's easier for the guys to fall. But also the people who like report on the big boards, do those sorts of things. Like Jeff Legwald does a really good one over at ESPN, and he's talking to scouts. He's talking to people in front offices to see what they think of all the players. And when you call up the guy from one of those teams, you know, what does Raider Scout think of this guy? And he says, he's just not fast enough. It doesn't mean that that's what every team thinks, but that is one of those little points that gets pushed down.
I think the hardest part is that college football and the NFL are almost different sports. And the skills that translate for certain guys just don't flash in college football the way that someone like Sean Payton can envision them flashing in the NFL. And that, I think that's the biggest thing, is like no one had heard of Pat Bryant before the Broncos drafted him, at least unless they're an Illinois fan or maybe a Big Ten fan. And even then, they might not have known him well. Because of that, people just instantly, I hate this. because there was a guy on the board that they had heard of.
Yep.
And who got into the, draft Nick circles and where it was getting buzz. And so even Nik Bonitto was a guy who, like, I think maybe we did talk about him in our player previews, but not a lot. Like, he wasn't like a buzzy player for the Broncos to draft in the second round, except he was for George Payton. Nik Bonitto. What was it? Nik Bonitto at 63. Holy
Yeah.
Nick, I think it was Nick effing Bonitto at 63.
Damn, yeah, that's great. Anyways, we just at least got to see the guys get into camp, and even then, it's still early to make a decision on if you like them or not.
I mean, speaking of Nik Bonitto, if you would have judged Nick after his first camp, you would have been concerned. If you would have judged Nick after his rookie season, you would have been ultra concerned.
We were.
We were.
100%, but we didn't give up on him because it's like, this is way too early. His second season, he went out and had 8 sacks. That's a really good season for the last pick in the second round, his second season. So Nick really isn't a one-hit wonder for the people that are concerned about that. He has 21.5 sacks in the past 2 seasons. That is pretty darn good for your second and third season in the NFL.
Definitely. But there's a gap in pay between 13.5 and 8,
But when you do 8, that makes it so that 13.5 isn't a one-hit wonder, and it's also 8 your second year, 13.5 your third year. There's only good trends.
Definitely. And that part's exciting. But yeah, like if you had said like 13.5, it's just a very different conversation. We're saying at that point it might be $40 million a year,
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
You don't think so?
I view that second year as a positive, and I don't think
definitely.
enough
It
people view it as a positive because people just keep pointing back to like, well, he's a one-hit wonder? Do you wait for this year to pay him? He's not a one-hit wonder. In
Or
my
like maybe
mind.
it's
that rookie year was not good. After that, it's only been encouraging.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're seeing positive trend. And even if, let's just say the Broncos do pay Nik Bonitto $25,000 and like, or $25 million, and he doesn't take off from where he is, and he just ends up being a 10 to 13 sack a year guy. That's fine.
That's market value.
Yeah.
And the
It's
excitement
better
about
than market value, honestly.
the excitement about going after a guy like that is that he can outperform the contract. That's where like Micah Parsons, I've said before, if Micah Parsons was a free agent and the Broncos gave him the $42 million a year, I'd say it's a bad deal. You shouldn't do that because there's no way that you're exceeding that value. Like he's never shown, his best season's 14 sacks. So like he's never shown, and there's no reason to think that he's going to give you the 20 sacks they would take for you to say like, hey, it's a bargain to get him for that number.
Yeah.
That's why you make those bets on guys like Nik Bonitto.
And it's kind of crazy that it still works out this way, but we've been saying it for years. Sacks, you get $1 million a sack until you get to double digits, and then it becomes $2 million a sack.
Huh.
Yeah. And that's what Nick's looking at right now, about 24, 25, 26 million right there. Okay, let's I got a question for you. Going back to Adam Trautman. What helps more this year? Bo Nix taking a step or the running game taking a step? Which one helps the other one more? Let us know in the Twitter chat. Let us know in the comments below as well.
Which one helps?
Which one helps the other one more? Bo Nix taking a step up, does that help the running game take a step up? Or the running game taking a step up, does that help Bo go in this take a step up his second season? Let's get to that question after I give a shout out to our friends and people that rock and roll with us every day over at Red Hawk Roofing. Red Hawk Roofing is the best in the business, whether it's for your house or whether it's for your business. Red Hawk Roofing can take care of it. And we might think we're experts at Taco Bell. None of us are experts when it comes to roofing. That's why you need to call the best people out there, Red Hawk Roofing. And the cool thing about Red Hawk Roofing, well, there's a lot of cool things. One, is they've got free, no obligation roof and property inspection, so you don't have to sign a contract before they come out and look at it. They've got free in-depth photo reports for all your inspections, so they show you what's going on with your roof. You don't just have to take a random person's word. No, they get up there, they see it, and then they show you what's happening. And you can't see the damage from your roof from the ground. You need the experts out there. And supporting local teams means supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you're looking for a new roof over your home or business, make sure to check them out at redhawkroofing.com or give them a call at 720-771-8921 and make sure to tell them that DNVR sent you.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union, home of the Denver Broncos checking account. And you can get yourself a sick Bo Nix debit card. Let's just see that, Hank. Nice and hold it up. No, why?
I can do the solo shot because it's a better shot.
Yaya's always just messing up my flow when it comes to this card, which is making me not like it, but I do like it a lot.
It's sick. It's not only Broncos, it's Bo.
It's Bo. You can't really see because we can't get a zoomed in view there, but you've got Bo making a throw, and you've got his autograph on there. So shout out to our friends over at Credit Union for the Denver Broncos checking account. If you want to bank like a Bronco, go to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR, spelled ent.com/DNVR to get signed up for the Broncos checking account. Ent Credit Union is insured by the NCUA, membership required, APY annual percentage yield. Account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card.
All right, we got some people responding to that. And really quick, hit us with a thumbs up. Twitter chat's popping off, and you can also give us a thumbs up even if you're tuning in after the fact. Those help us as well. Sean says running game helps Bo. Jose says running game helps Bo. Daniel says running game helps more. Do you guys agree?
100%.
I don't even think it's close.
In terms of helping each other, yeah, it would. And the exciting thing is we saw what Bo was able to do, have one of the best rookie seasons of all time with no running game. And now it really does seem like the Broncos have a running game. And the crazy thing is the Broncos offensive line graded out in so many metrics as a good run blocking team last year. But what's become very clear from the Broncos' words and their actions is it was the running backs that were the ones failing. They weren't hitting the holes. They weren't getting the extra 2 yards that you need. If it's blocked for 3, they weren't getting 5. They were getting 2 or 3 yards. And that's how it was just constantly through the season. That's why you brought in 2 new guys that are going to get 96% of the touches, guys that weren't here last year. And that just gives me all the hope in the world for what Bo can be. Not just what the running game can be, because it should be very, very much better than last year. But also, what does this mean for Bo? I think it means so much.
Yeah. I have a take
Uh-oh.
that I want to unveil here. We've heard about running to pass, right? Using the run to set up the pass. And then there's a lot of people who say, like, yeah, or you could pass to set up the run. I don't think pass to set up the run exists.
I agree.
There's this idea of like, oh, if you're just great at passing, then the defense will be like on their heels for the run. It just throws off the schedule of like football.
It does.
Like, if you can run the ball for 4 yards on first down, that gives you the entire playbook on second down. And so that's where your like run to pass, I think, comes from. Is like you're getting on schedule, you're setting it up. Then if you have 2nd and 6, you can run or pass again, and the defense is like on their heels. If you watch the teams that throw the ball heavily, never find themselves in those situations unless they just successfully pass the ball. So like pass to run, even though it's like you could point to like some Peyton Manning teams and say they were able to pull it off. That is a very, very, very tight window you're talking about there. I don't think like I just don't think pass to run really exists.
You kind of hit it, but I think if you have an elite quarterback, then pass to run does work. But you have to have that elite quarterback. No team. I agree with you that the generic team can't go in and say we're going to pass in order to run. You got to have an elite guy
and
like Payton.
The big thing is you're setting up play action by being able to run the ball, which is not something that you can do in pass to run unless you're like, oh, we're going to set up the draw.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And even looking through, like Peyton's last 3 years with the Colts, they were 26th, 29th, and 32nd in running the ball. I think you go back to 2005, they were 16th. 2004, they were 15th. And maybe early Peyton. No, they're back up higher numbers. So, like, I still wouldn't even say that they were pass to run. They were just pass.
What was the 2013 Broncos?
They
that's a good one.
Like, they were never wanting to run, but they were able to run because the pass was so successful. Like, Noshawn had 1,000 yards rushing with Peyton as his quarterback because you have a defense that's set up to stop the pass. Like, so, but you're still not going to be a great running team. You're just going to be able to potentially run it successfully.
Yeah, but I think that's different than the offense or the run first offense where all of a sudden you do see like you're running the ball and then the play action goes off of it and your passing game is like good because of it, not just like we also kind of do that.
That's true.
Broncos were 20th in 2013 in rush. Oh, sorry, I'm on the Colts page still.
So really quick,
Colts
when
are
Henry looks that up, let's wrap up this conversation by what if the running game does take a big step up, like Adam Trautman's saying it is, and Bo does take that year or that jump from year 1 to year 2, like Trautman says, like we've all seen, like Sean Payton believes. What's the ceiling for this offense? Or you could say ceiling, but what do you expect from this offense?
I was gonna say the ceiling is different than my expectations.
Give me both.
Or the ceiling would be like
Best-
top 5, number
best in the
1
NFL.
offense. Yeah. I guess the ceiling would be number 1. What I believe will and can happen is like somewhere in the 4 to 7 range.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say right around top 5, realistically.
Yeah.
And that is
But if
that's
you have
crazy because
I was just gonna say we are fully expecting a top 3 defense. Like I almost feel like if they were 4th, it would be kind of disappointing.
Are you scared about that at all? Because it scares me a little bit that I expect so much.
I just think the players are just so good.
I think
the
so
only
too.
thing that could derail it is health. I just think if you're able to have a top 3 defense and a top 7 offense, like you're a favorite. You're one of the top 4 favorites to win the Super Bowl.
you are a Super Bowl contender. That's why Sean Payton believes that this team is a Super Bowl contender. He doesn't just believe it like I knew back in March. He went out and said it publicly and has said it publicly over the past 2 weeks because he knows this should be the number 1 defense in the NFL. And that's why I believe this is Vance Joseph's last year with the Broncos, because if they're number 1, he should be a head coach somewhere. If they're number 10, that's still good, but that's very underwhelming. Ryan, you said if they were 4th, you'd be a little disappointed. Imagine 10th.
Yeah.
I think that's when Jim Leonard steps in because Sean says, no, we have the defense to be number 1 in the NFL. And then if Sean also believes what Trautman believes, which he absolutely does, then he says we're going to have a top 10 offense as like an expectation with the ceiling of potentially top 5 offense with good coaching. That's a Super Bowl team right there, at least a contender.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Broncos 2013, 15th in rushing yards, 20th in efficiency.
So yeah, right
in
in that like middle of the
right
pack
there. Yeah.
area. The question would be like, I don't know, where did like the prime Titans rank in passing with Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill?
Tannehill had a
Probably
couple good
bad.
years. I'm curious. Yeah.
In
I
terms
can
of
check.
like, yeah.
What's like
Because
another
were you
case study or like
Were you basing that off yards, rushing yards?
15th in rushing yards, 20th in yards per carry for the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is Tannehill wasn't slinging the ball. So it is a good point, though, that it probably doesn't.
like if
Probably
you're gonna
reflects
have
similarly the opposite, though.
right, exactly. Like if that's your identity,
Right.
then the other side isn't going to be quite as good.
So 2019 and 2020, he led the NFL in rushing. So I'll see where the Titans were those 2 years. So 2019.
And Henry, when you look that up,
He's got.
oh,
it.
you got it?
Yeah, 21st, 21st in passing yards, 7th in yards per attempt. Then 2020, 23rd in passing yards, 7th in yards per attempt.
Yeah.
So they really were that efficient. And maybe it was because
But in terms of the yards aren't there.
totally
They're not going to be. They're just
Yeah.
never going to be.
But
it does help your efficiency passing the ball a lot more to run the ball successfully
exactly.
than it helps your efficiency running the ball to pass the ball.
totally,
successfully.
which is what they've been saying for decades.
And so that's why it's so crucial
They're
that
right.
the Broncos fixed the run game. And they not only did it with getting
We
J.K.
hope.
Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, but they also did it with some scheme changes. And I will say, we've already kind of seen this in training camp, and we've seen it in the preseason games. Don't expect the Broncos to have the best run game in the NFL and even a great run game in the first couple weeks of the season. We've seen how this new scheme that they're implementing is going to take a little bit of time. And so that's why I would expect Bo to be better than the run game for the first couple of weeks of the season. And then I do expect the run game to pick up, but it's okay if it looks a little choppy, especially Tennessee's best trait is their front seven. So that on top of the Broncos still learning the run game, it might not look the best in week 1, but don't panic. This is about December and January, not week 1 against the Titans.
I will admit though that I'm very much in show me mode when it comes to
Definitely.
the running game. Like everyone is talking about how it's better and all of that stuff, and I think the talent is certainly better. But I'm not going to just believe the Broncos have a good, strong running game until I see them have a game where they have 170 yards collectively or
That's
something along those lines.
exactly. That's where I'm at. And one of the interesting things Sean has said repeatedly is that they have multiple runs called, and it just depends on what the defensive front is. And I want to ask Benny if that's what the Broncos did back in the day. I have on my list for the watch along of things to ask him.
Nice.
Like what's
Look at you prepping?
Yeah, well, the watch along was so good we didn't get through all my topics, but.
Nice.
I wanted to ask him, like, is that something that they always do? Because obviously there are teams that didn't. Like, you go back to the 49ers, those dominant offenses like 5 years ago, it was wide zone regardless. You go back to the Broncos in the 90s, wide zone regardless. And I almost wonder if there's value in just, this is what we do. We're going to make you stop it before we go to something else.
I actually don't need to see the Broncos run game. Like, obviously you want to see it, but I believe by the end of the season, it's going to be a really good run game. So again, don't freak out over the first few weeks. They have the offensive line to do it. They have the play caller to do it. And now they got the running backs to do it. And an interesting thing, we have not seen J.K. Dobbins in the preseason. He's been on the field in that first game, but Sean Payton has really, really, really not showcased him. And that's intentional. One, because he knows what he is. And two, because I think J.K. is going to be featured very heavily early in the season. One, they want to keep him healthy. And two, I think Sean wants to kind of hide how good he thinks J.K. Dobbins is. And so I think then R.J. Harvey's your two, and I've really liked what I've seen from Harvey. Man, I'm excited for this. And speaking of excited, Broncos are excited and really up on two guys that have not been talked about. One has literally maybe never been talked about in the past month, and the other one really gone under the radar. I want to talk about those two guys after I give a shout out to our friends over at American Financing, where if you're thinking about buying a home, you're not the only one. This is a buyer's market right now, meaning there's a lot of buyers out there, and you've got to have the upper hand. And giving our friends over at American Financing a call over at 303-695-7000 will give you that upper hand. More homes are on the market, which means competition is down, and the serious deals are out there that are waiting to be found. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to upgrade or downsize, now's the time to get pre-approved, and American Financing can make that happen in 24 hours or less. That's the key thing right there. If you find a home, you're like, I want that home. Sometimes it could take days and weeks, and then by the time you're pre-approved, that home is gone. Not with American Financing. You can do it in 24 hours or less. And the other thing, when you work with both American Financing and their partner, American Home Agents, you can save an additional 1% up to $10,000 on your home loan. So don't let the 20% myth stop you. You can buy a home with as little as 3% down. With down payment assistance programs, getting you a home might be easier than you think. Give them a call at 303-695-7000 or visit AmericanFinancing.net. MLS 182334, MLSConsumerAccess.org.
Also, shout out to Bet365. So many perks, including, an official partner of the Nuggets and the Avs, whom we love. But also, they have the early payout offer with the baseball games. So if a team goes up by 5, then you get your payout even if they blow that lead if you bet the money line. And with the Rockies recently, that's been a great bet because they've just been destroying all these leads. And I guess they lost last night finally, but still a lot of money to be made through that. Also, a lot of money to be made on preseason football. We bet the overs week 1, and I think 12 of them hit. 12 hit the first week, 12 of the 16. This week it wasn't as much because they raised the lines, but I think it was still 10 of them hit. I haven't looked at the lines this week to figure out where to go. But yeah, this is the time to be betting. Football's right around the corner. It starts on Saturday. And breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10. Place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, let's get into these two under-the-radar players, and one of them, Nate Adkins. He got injured earlier in training camp. He's going to miss a couple of weeks, and that really flew under the radar. And I get it. He's a blocking tight end, kind of hybrid fullback. Not a lot of attention is going to be paid to him. Yesterday, though, Sean Payton went out of his way to make it known how big of a loss this is. Listen to this and hear how much Sean values Nate Adkins.
we'll continue to pay real close attention to the tight end wire and also the fullback. You know, we had a few of those guys in to work out. We've always kind of had an F, and I think quietly Nate was one of those players that I don't know got a lot of attention, and yet, man, there was a lot of respect around the league and in the locker room for the way he did a number of things. So, you know, it'd be good to get him back when we do. In the meantime, we've got to fill that void somehow.
And I think that just points to the importance of the running game for Sean. People think of Sean and they think of passing. They think of Drew Brees. They definitely think of Jimmy Graham when it comes to tight ends. He also is always going to have really good blocker or two. You got Trautman, who is a very capable, good blocker. And then it's clear Nate Adkins was 100% going to make this team if he was healthy. There was no question on cut day that him and Adam Trautman were going to make this team. And now it's about finding his replacement. And the Broncos didn't really sign his replacement. They have Adam Prentice in. Sean does not seem sold on Adam Prentice, by the way, talking to him at the podium yesterday. But that's more of a Michael Burton filler right there. And so we had this conversation yesterday, Henry, about who could be surprise cuts. I believe Adam Trautman was thrown out there. No, he's clearly making the roster, especially after these comments. And then the blocking. Sean admitted later in the press conference that they're going to have to go heavy in order to have great blockers on the field because they don't really have that without Nate Adkins.
Yeah, and that's something that they always do. I think, there was one team that had more jumbo packages than Sean did last year. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But it was Jim Harbaugh, extra offensive lineman down there as well. But yeah, they use that guy more than anybody. And so that helps. You probably see more of that without Adkins. First of all, we have been giving respect to Nate Adkins on this podcast for 3 years. So that's everybody else who has not been doing that.
Good little internet show we got here.
Yeah, good internet show. Watch our internet show. We've been saying he'd make the team since he was an undrafted rookie. So, yeah, I mean, he's huge. I think the interesting piece of this is that you're trying to lean into the wide zone thing. And if you're going to find somebody who can help you week one, you want somebody who knows how to do that in particular in the specific way that you coach it. Because again, like there's the outside zone where the running back aims like a step outside the tight end. There's the wide zone where you aim right at the tight end. There's the inside zone where you aim at the guard. And all of these are so different and can be coached so differently that finding the tight end who fits and knows exactly what he's doing is difficult. Like Adam Trautman said, he spent all offseason trying to figure out all this stuff and trusting that like I'm lined up here. I've got this massive outside linebacker making $40 million a year right here. My job is to turn and run this way and then block him. Like that's a weird thing to get over mentally that's what you're trying to do. Finding somebody from the right system who knows how to do that, if you're really trying to lean in, it isn't going to be easy. And I'm curious to see what they come up with.
But I think it's pretty clear that they believe Nate Adkins was a very good fit for that.
Totally.
And we talked about it yesterday too on the show. Like, I don't think the Broncos, yesterday I said, I don't think the Broncos are going to go out and sign any guys that were cut from a different team, sign them off waivers after the 53 because the Broncos are so deep. Clearly, this is one. Might be the only position that the Broncos might do that with if there's a specific blocking tight end out there to fill that gap of Nate Adkins for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't find it coincidental that Sean is singing Nate Adkins' praises after the preseason game. Because they tried some of the other tight ends in those positions. I specifically remember Priesthorn getting that. And then obviously he had a bad moment at the end of the game where it was probably just like, Nate Adkins would never do that.
Yep.
You know? And so that's kind of a tough look for those guys. But I think you're right. What was the guy that we had from Texas?
Beck?
Yeah. What was his first
Not Jordan Beck.
It was Andrew Beck.
Andrew Beck.
Yes.
Is he available?
Might be with the Texans again.
Yeah.
That would be a really good one.
That's the first name that came to my mind because he kind of fits that same role.
Ryan, speaking of the
Jets.
tight ends, we talked about this yesterday.
Could get cut.
Do you think, well, and also there's a connection between Darren Moogie and the Broncos. Do you think Caleb Lohner makes this team? This was one that Henry and I couldn't fully agree on.
Makes the team as in the
53.
53-man roster.
Yep.
100%. I think we did agree.
Oh, we did agree.
We did agree.
Oh.
We disagreed on game day roster.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I
then,
think he makes the team.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was a controversial one that we put out there on Twitter. People did a lot of people thought he was perfect for the practice squad. If you think he's perfect for the practice squad and use that word perfect, it might mean that another team thinks he would be good enough to be their developmental tight end as well. Okay.
I just don't think you use a pick like that for a development project and then take the chance that you lose them.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's like that tier of like 7 guys, like Loner, like Uwazurike, like Clay Webb and Frank Crunt, all those guys who like developmentally we like them, but there's only a couple roster spots for those guys, and the question comes down to who can you actually get to the practice squad. With Loner, you drafted him because you didn't think that you could actually get him in undrafted free agency. True. So like he's probably top of the list of guys you think you would lose.
And I mean, just in the Twitter chat right now, we have Jose and Jackson saying he does not make the team right there.
Oh,
And then
Jackson.
Daniel Sepp rolling in too. Something in the Twitter chat waters that just doesn't believe Caleb Loner will make this team.
No.
We all do. Will be interesting to see.
No last name on Jackson there, but I can only assume his last name is Prescorn or Kroll. I believe that might be Jackson Prescorn in the chat.
You might be right. One other under
Jackson
the radar.
and Caden, that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
It would. One
lot
other
of
under the radar player that I
onions.
want to get to right now is Nik Bonitto. I asked him yesterday about Que Robinson, how the rookie's developing, being in the same room as Nick, and I was not expecting this type of response. Here's what Nick said.
I mean, he's been really good, man. I mean, more far along that I could say than I was as a rookie. The main thing with him is just going. I mean, when he goes, there's nobody that can stop him. He's just a freight train. He can run through anybody. So, I mean, it's just a matter of when he knows what he's doing and he can just go, he's really dominant. So,
Nick kind of lit up for Nick's standards. They're talking about Q, and that gets me so excited because the Broncos already have, obviously, Nick, an incredible pass rusher. They've got Jonathan Cooper, an incredible all-around player who I also think is going to take a step up as a pass rusher. Jonah Ellis, they have incredible depth with Jonah there. Tillman, also fantastic. If Q is your 5th pass rusher, your 5th edge this year, he's the best 5th edge in the NFL. But I also don't just think that he could be depth. I think he could be, in a couple of years, I don't want to put a ceiling on him because he has the talent. Went to Alabama. The reason that he fell was because he only played 340 snaps at Alabama because there's so much depth at that edge position at Alabama. And then he got hurt in the middle of last year. So that caused him to fall, just really go under the radar. And clearly what Nick is saying is when he knows exactly what to do, he's unstoppable as a pass rusher. That's so exciting because he's also the biggest pass rusher the Broncos have.
Yep.
Totally. I mean, we've gone through all these stats before, but every stat you find says that he should have been on the field more, that Bama was making a huge mistake. 24% pass rush win rate's massive. Out of 514 edge rushers with the most snaps, he was 4th out of all of them and just beating the tackle in front of him. 12th when you take away all of the like play action stuff. Or screens, like just the real pass rushes. So there's a whole bunch of those that you'd say, like, why weren't you using him more? But then, like you said, only 370 snaps total at Bama. And for reference, Pat Surtain played 420 snaps last year from week 13 on. Wow. So that's just the sample size you're looking at. So he's obviously raw. We're still kind of waiting to see it show up in the preseason games, but like the talent is obvious. It's just waiting. And the tough part also is just going to be opportunities. Like as Jackson said, there's no role for him right now. Like the role is you're not getting uniform on game days until there's like a reason to cycle you in for somebody else because you already have your 4 guys in uniform figured out.
I don't know. He's a good special teamer.
Totally.
And I do think that's his role this year is special teams. And I do think that can actually earn him a jersey. And I think we will see him at some point get snaps on the defensive side of the ball this year. We disagreed on this. I've liked what I've seen from Q. We've seen flashes from him in the preseason and then in training camp. I mean, he is the most disruptive player when he's on the field with that bottom second and third string defense right there. So, I'm so excited for Q. Shout out to Nate Adkins, Adam Trautman, couple of tight ends getting some love on this show. And then the star, Mr. Nik Bonitto. That's going to do it for us today. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. We've got a very special guest. Brian Baldinger is back with us tomorrow. I can't wait to pick his brain. We got a lot to catch up on, get his opinions on what he thinks about Sean Payton calling this team a Super Bowl contender.
Can't wait.
I can't wait to hear from Baldy. Shout out to Ryan, shout out to Henry, shout out to you here, and shout out to the Toyota chat and in the comments below. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. Have a wonderful hump day. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.